rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here comes the West Indies. And when you're facing the generals, nearly every ball is a funeral. And when we batting, brother, go and put your men on the boundary line. And if you give we a liquor, that is merely a hiccup. Look, you win the little battle, you lose the war. It's the same result every time. Everybody sing. Here comes the West Indies. Here comes the West Indies. Them rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here comes the West Indies. I tell you now, here comes the West Indies. Here comes the West Indies. Them bad boys gonna bring you to your knees. Here comes the West Indies. Special request to the Trinity posse. And what about the Guyana posse? And what about the Jamaica posse?
1986 Triple Crown winner, no stranger in New York City. I would like you to welcome right about now King David Rudder. David Rudder.
Everybody, here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them bad boys gonna bring you to your knees. Here come the West. Everybody say, here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here come the West Indies. Well, the king had a dream. It was a mighty scheme. They devised a game by which they could always rule. They could always rule. So when they finished with the penalty, right through the colony, where this game called cricket was the ace in the hand, but today they're back in the school. Everybody sing, here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here come the West Indies. Everybody sing, here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them bad boys gonna bring you to your knees. Here come the West Indies. And when you're facing the general, nearly every ball is a funeral. And when we bat the brother, go and put your men on the boundary line. And if you give we a liquor, that is merely a hiccup. Look, you win the little battle, you lose the war. You see same result every time. Heaven knows, here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here come the West Indies. I tell you now, here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them bad boys gonna bring you to your knees. Here come the West Indies. Special request to the Trinity posse. And what about the Grenada posse? The Bisson and Quilla posse. And what about the Guyana posse? And what about the Bajan posse? And what about the Antigua posse? And what about the Jamaica posse? Easy down, easy down, easy down, easy down. Give me some lights in the house. We all know what happened in cricket recently, eh? We got a world record. I was there. I was there when Dudley Ambrose bowled down the whole of England for 46 runs too. So Caribbean people, there's one thing we have going for us is the cricket team, and everybody know that. All the divisions, the cricket team bring everything together, and the music. The two great forces in Caribbean history today, sport and culture. So we're gonna blend them together now. Let me see all the Jamaicans, all the Bajans. Wait, you know what I'm gonna do? All the West Indians, come. All the West Indians. Good, good. Now, to the Americans, cricket to us is like baseball to you. The only difference is, baseball is like checkers. Cricket is definitely chess. That's the only difference. So I want everybody to sing with me right now. Come on. Here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them bad boys gonna bring you to your knees. Here come the West Indies. Everybody say what? Here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Take down the music. I want to hear the people sing. I want to hear the people sing. You ready to sing with me? All right. Now we're going to start a little hoot nanny first. So I want everybody to get a group together. Come on. Here we go. Here come the West Indies. Here Here come the West Indies. Them bad boys gonna bring you to your knees. Here come the West Indies. Everybody sing. Them rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here come the... Well, they could bring Sri Lanka, New Zealand or India. You could smoke a little herb, be absurd. We'll even lend you a beach. You could bring South Africa, or talk big like Australia. Man is licks like fire and you're bound to surrender. Practice while you preach. Everybody sing. Here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them bad boys gonna get you by degrees. Here come the West Indies. One more time. Here come the West Indies. Here come the West Indies. Them rude boys gonna bring you to your knees. Here comes the West Indies.
Here comes the West Indies. That was a long time ago, vintage West Indies, when we ruled the cricket world for almost 2 decades, the longest any team has ruled a team sport in the history of sport. Poorest cricketing country, not just winning, but ruling the cricket. It's been a struggle since then, but we keep on keeping on. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to Caribbean Cricket 101, West Indies Cricket 101. It's been a couple of weeks. We know we had the CPL, and last week was the final. Quite a heartbreak for the Guyana Warriors fans. And in the end, St. Lucia Kings took it away. We're going to be talking tonight about some of that. And we hear about a global T20 cricket being sponsored by Guyana coming up, and shrouded in a little bit of mystery, but we'll talk about that. People are asking questions about it. The West Indies team is in Sri Lanka, starting today. They're playing three T20s and 3 ODIs. The T20 series started today with a win by the West Indies, winning by 5 runs. Took it down to the last over. It should not have gotten there, but it's a win. It's a win. On that, almost, well, not quite a second string team, but some of the big names are not there. Puran, Hetmaya. Oh boy. Puran is not touring. Hetmaya is not touring. Hussein is not touring. Russell is not touring. Mayers is not touring. Jason Holder is not touring. We understand that the first 4 opted out of the tour. We are not certain what is the story with Holder. Was he dropped? We're not certain. We're not certain about Mayers. Was he dropped? We don't know. Johnson Charles, who was in the mix up until just before the CPL, and made a lot of runs in the CPL. He's not touring. Was he dropped? We'll ask these questions. Of course, the teams were announced, the squads were announced, and there was no explanation from the CWI. We know we have a new selection system or process now that the coach ultimately picks the team. So we don't know. We've heard that Puran, Hetmaya, and Hussein and Russell. They opted out. Question mark on Edmire. Edmire was dropped for the last year or so, and here was his opportunity, and he opted out. Take a rest. At least that's what we have gotten the from the news reports. But talk about it tonight. Welcome. Please share the link, share the live, and let everyone know that we're on tonight with West Indies Cricket 101, Basil Butcher Jr., and Dr. Vincent Adams, our in-house commentators. It's Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon for some of us, and Sunday night for some of us, those of us who are joining from Europe, England. Welcome to Caribbean cricket, West Indies Cricket 101. The CPL was quite a lot of hype this year around it. It has lived up to its billing as the greatest party in sport, but there's some questions lingering. We'll talk about that. Let me bring in Basil. Basil is here. Basil, good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Hines. Good evening to your viewers.
How have you been?
Good. I've been doing good.
CPL.
Yes.
I didn't think you picked the team.
Yeah, I actually, my sentimental pick was Guyana because that's my team. But I had concerns. If you remember, I was very concerned about the batting was not, and concerns about the bowling. So, and those concerns blew up in the final.
All right, talk to us about those concerns.
The batting.
Yeah.
Let's start with the batting. Making 138 runs was always going to be a challenge to defend on that pitch. We did a good job in defending it up to a point. But I think to start there with the batting, Hope, Gorbaz, Muin Ali didn't strike and so on. But despite all of those, I as I said, Hetmeyer is the main batsman in this team. Mm-hmm. Like how Puran was clearly the main batsman in the Trinidad team. And as Puran went, so did the Trinidad team go, right? And for the way Hetmeyer got out at that juncture, where all of those guys I called, I think I might be mistaken that Muin Ali might have still been batting with him. But the Hope and Gorbaz was already back in. That I would have hoped Hetmeyer to have a little more game awareness and be able to bat deep into this thing to assure we get somewhat of an imposing total that we could defend, and he played a very individual to a guy. He didn't know which way the ball was turning, and played a very attacking shot. The ball turned the way that the other way from what he guessed. So instead of it going where he wanted it to go, he just pulled up a simple catch. I mean, you got the real big Hetmeyer supporters. Some of them, man, you're not talking about the other guys. No, I am not saying the other guys did not. I mean, Hope out soft too, trying to hit the ball over the top and got caught at mid-off. But Hetmeyer, when you are the main batter in the team, there are certain times you have to calculate and look at the situation and play accordingly. He going to come and say, I stayed positive and positive. But part of being positive is game awareness. That, I'm trying to get one here rather than looking to hit the ball out to the ground. or try to get along the ground, so I can't get caught off along the ground, I was very disappointed with it. I must say I was very disappointed with his performance in that final. And other than that too, he's supposed to know most of those Guyana Amazon Warriors fans that turned up to see Mr. Hetmeyer bat. So
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
no, I think your point is well taken. Your point is well taken, and it's a cricketing point. I mean, some people,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Hetmeyer
Yes,
fan,
yes,
but
yes.
this is not about Hetmeyer. This is
No. This
making
is
a cricketing point.
Yeah.
The batting was always thin. The real proper batsmen that you had there, Gorbaz, Hope, Hetmeyer, Moeen Ali.
Mm-hmm.
The others are all-rounders, bowling
Mm-hmm.
all-rounders, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So the batting was always thin from the beginning, and you had somebody like what's his name, Kimo Paul, who
Mm-hmm.
was batting at 6 but wasn't getting any
Right.
scores. And to expect that in the finals he will suddenly come
Yeah.
good, I think was
Was
asking for too
a
much.
tall order.
Right. And so it was very important that Hetmeyer
Yeah.
steered the ship. And more than any of the batsmen, including Gorbaz and Hope and so on, he was the batsman who seemed to the devils in the devil in the pitches played at the pitches there at the stadium wasn't bothering him.
Correct.
So right, so it made it much more important that he stayed around. So I completely agree with the point you made, and it's a problem with West Indies cricket, and we've been talking about it over and over again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt. You look at Hetmeyer batting there at the stadium. Clearly, he's a cut above the others. But the others are doing as well as he's doing or better, largely because his game awareness is off. The bowling. Talk to us.
Yeah, before I get to the bowling,
Yeah.
let's just quick point on the batting. I think the construction of the team, some questions have to be asked because they brought in Azam Khan as a batter, and he clearly was not up to the job this year at all, right?
Yeah.
And what we had behind him, we had young Kevlon Anderson, very inexperienced, and Reefer, right? So we were playing Kimo Paul as purely a batter. And it should not have been. So I would have said we were short one quality batter in the construction of this team. Because you fulfill the roles with emerging players with Kevlon Anderson and Nandu. And I don't think either of them are really up to the muster thus yet in this T20 format to really make a serious impact. So I think that was an issue there. Now we come to the bowling. I think we were doing a wonderful job up to 16.
Yes.
And that's when all the wheels came off, right? Where
Moeen Ali
gave up the 27 run over. But now we're talking about the bowling. As I see one of the people commenting, that was another issue. Why pick Reefer? What was Reefer playing as? Reefer playing as, he just playing as a fielder. And it's almost like, as an outsider looking in, the coaches and trying to see if they could cover every scenario possible in a 20 over. It's a short game, right? That to me, playing Shamar Joseph could have been way more impactful than Reefer, because Reefer in ball and Reefer's batting was nothing to say anything about. And Reefer played all of those games, those few games coming down the stretch that was puzzling to most, right?
Yeah.
So I think that construction of the 11 right there to me was a mistake that Shamar should have played. And I think at that point in after 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, that 17th over, you could have bowled a Shamar, because I think the extra pace with two guys who were in the shell, because look, the guy
Aaron
Jones,
Jones.
strike rate was at 45. He
Yeah.
was batting like in a test match, trying to save a test match, right? So now you bring somebody that bowling quick. And the one thing everybody would know this, that understand, somebody bowling extra pace got a little more margin and error than a guy not bowling as quick.
Yeah.
Right. So therefore, even if Shamar missed slightly, right, because he bowled with the extra pace, he can get away if he pitched the ball somewhere where he missed slightly, rather than a slower bowler. And I think that was a mistake in picking him. But kudos to Jones and Chase. And I must commend Chase, because Chase didn't swipe at all. Chase was batting like he was in a test match. All those strokes were test match strokes, and they were bad balls by Muin Ali. He bowled a very poor over. Except the only ball where I think the batter took the initiative was when the first ball the guy hit for 6, when he chipped down and hit Muin Ali for 6. But the second ball he bowled was a good, decent ball. It was like a Yorker, and he only got 1. But the 4 balls he bowled to Chase were all poor deliveries. They either were too full or they were too short. And Chase, like a good batter would do, put them away for boundaries. And that changed again, because the strike rate, the run rate that was necessary to win was going up. It was like 13 or something.
13.
And that over brought it down to 8. Now, when you get to 8 in T20 today with batters at set, man, there's a walk in the park. And that's where the game. And then to follow it up, the next over,
Pretorius
give up 20. And by then the game was pretty much over. And then Shepherd, it was over with Shepherd's over.
Yeah. Good evening to you, in case you're just joining us. Yes, it's West Indies Cricket 101. We are doing sort of a post-mortem. When we were boys, they used to say in the communities, post-mortem don't bring back death. They were referring to other things. And not cricket. Yes. Dr. Adams, you remember that saying, post-mortem don't bring back.
Oh, absolutely. Postmortem don't bring back there.
All we grew up in Ghana know that term.
Yes.
Particularly the men.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a cricketing term, but right. we are we are looking back at the CPL. I know you had picked Barbados. Basil and I were sentimental. We were going with the Amazon Warriors. And so we were looking at the final. I think Basil made what I call a cricketing point, which is that Hetmyer was the difference when it comes to the batting of the Amazon Warriors, and he played irresponsibly in the short time he was at the crease, and that would have made a difference. And we were making the point that, look, you know what I mean? You really only had 4 proper batsmen in the squad, in the team. You know, Hope, Gorbaz, Hetmyer, and Muin Ali. And of the 4, clearly, Hetmyer had shown in previous matches he could handle whatever devils they were in the pitches that were played. So it was important, very important, that he stuck around, and clearly he didn't. And so 138 was inadequate. What's your position on that?
You're going to tell me you're going to listen to a broken record here as far as
but he didn't get caught at Cow Corner.
No, but but you see, and we've got to keep saying that, and that's the big difference between him and Puran. You bowl outside of Puran half, somebody's gonna carry you on the offside. Hetmyer always looking and he's too matured of a batsman, especially understanding his responsibility in this team as the number one player, and the team depends upon him. Just him being around there, even if he's got to come in, and even if he's got to just get a few dot balls and take your time, and it's not that he can't play those offside shots, but like I said, he plays very irresponsibly. On the other hand, here you had two players. I mean, Chase is nothing in comparison to Hetmeyer in terms of a talented batsman. And so is Jones is not either. But guess what? Even I thought that it was impossible for them to catch up, because even when Jones came in like what, the 13th over or something, and they were going very slowly, taking like at one time I said it's impossible when it was
Mm-hmm.
13 plus, but they played themselves in, and then they took that over from Ali, and then the second over from Petros, and then brought the game right back. But two, two players who were not even to the stature of Hetmeyer, put their heads down and played a hell of an innings. So you got to give them credit. We should not have lost that game when you look at the teams on paper. I mean, there's no comparison whatsoever. However, when like I said, in T20, all it takes is just one person, one person can make a difference. If that's their day, and that's their, like Jones, and
Mm-hmm.
then, and Jones, he was, as a matter of fact, I heard afterwards. But I guess it's the mental part of the game that Sammy himself said that Jones told him
Mm-hmm.
that he's gonna win this game for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now I that would be a bold thing for me to tell any captain, anybody. I don't know if he said that so that he can get the play or what,
Right.
but whatever it is, he came through like a Muhammad Ali. You predict that he's gonna win, he came through. But here's a guy Jones who's not of any class compared to Hetmeyer, but he showed that that he knew what his role is. And the thing that I admired about him more than anything else is the length of time that he came in and stayed before he start upping the tempo. He was just pushing around for singles.
Mm-hmm.
What about the bowling? Basil is saying, and I agree with him, that you had to refine the team. Clearly, not as a batter, and didn't bowl.
Yeah.
And Shamar Joseph is sitting on the bench. And then you come to that crucial over, the long conversation between the two batsmen with the message that came from the coach, obviously, to tell them, instruct them what to do. Then you had a long conversation with the top brass of the Guyana team, and the ball is thrown to
Moin
Moeen
Ali.
Ali. The
More,
rest
yeah.
is history.
Mm.
And I think Basil's point is that if you had a Shamar Joseph at that crucial time, with his pace, even if he would have made an error, the chances of him getting belting around in the way that Muhammad Ali would have been less. Your take on that?
Well, without question, as a matter of fact, I was shocked that he was not in the tech up, because he has been bowling well. I don't understand when I thought he might have been injured or something, because he was bowling well in the previous games,
Mm-hmm.
And now he's. You remember that from day one, when they brought him into the squad, I was saying I hope that they're very cautious in how they bring him up, because he's not ready for T20. But now I'm convinced that he is. I saw him today, and today I think is the first time that he really opened the bowling in T20. But I saw him, and he was I think the guy has arrived now, and to me he's our premier quick in T20, because you can tell, like today he impressed me against Sri Lanka today. So, but I was surprised too that he was not in the lineup in that game. And Basil is absolutely correct. I agree with that. I maybe Basil had some inside information as to What was
I
the logic?
I
What was the logic behind leaving him out?
that I would love to. This is where I wish in the CPL they used to have press conferences with the coaches that you could ask some of the tactics and strategies and to the players themselves. Because the other thing regarding Hetmeyer, because he got out the way he got out in that game more than once in the CPL, where the spinners took him wide, and he
Yep,
still looked to hit the ball on the onside
that's
and
right.
got out. And that was exactly what the guy did. And I think I would have thought by now he would have said, okay, y'all carry me wide, I can go with it. Y'all think
Yep,
y'all gonna make me want to try to hit it on the onside? No, I'm gonna hit it through the offside. You
yep,
know, so that too was somewhat disappointing because if you remember, against Trinidad, in one of the games Trinidad, they if I'm not mistaken, the same left arm orthodox Chinaman guy got him out, or a spinner got him out going wide. You
yep.
know, so
It's become so predictable, and I don't understand because even if let me tell you something, even at my age, I could pick up the ball right now, and all you've got to do, direct it, let it slide away from him, down the offside, or with that. If you notice that guy with the Chinaman, he was bowling sheer Chinaman to him, so
mm-hmm,
and way outside the off some. So that's what
mm-hmm,
they're doing. If you notice when the even when the left arm spinners, you remember when I remember distinctly when that guy from New Zealand, the left arm spinner, when in one of the games he was bowling from over the wicket, and then we had Maya heave them, a couple, and then he went around the wicket, and all he did was go with the arm, sliding it away from him outside the off stump, and that's how he got him out. But
mm-hmm,
I mean, for him to be been playing for this length of time and not thinking these things through, and getting out the same way all the time, that's what I do not understand. It's that's the disappointing thing about it. That's the
mm-hmm.
disappointing thing about it.
Uh, 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 Good evening, Lester, who's joining us all the way from South Africa, Johannesburg. Welcome, my brother. Welcome to all of you who are joining us this evening. Albert Sinclair
Yeah.
only bowled 1 over after he got a wicket,
Mm-hmm.
also in that over, and never bowled again. We got our tactics wrong.
I can't say that because if you really have a choice to bowl between Moeen Ali and Sinclair in a tight spot, 10 times out of 10 you're gonna pick Moeen Ali because Moeen Ali is an experienced campaigner. He's been there, done that. On that day, he bowled a bad over. That happens in T20, yeah. He bowled a bad over, and kudos to the batters, they capitalized. You know.
And of course, we had that over that went for 27,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it. Doc, um, you had you had chosen Barbados
Yeah.
as your team. They had a horrible time
Yep.
coming down to the end of the tournament. What went wrong?
Yeah, that's again, if T20 is a different game to test cricket where you can correct your mistakes. Ali, and they went into a rut, and nothing was going right for them, and so they just they it it they just choose the wrong time. They
Mm-hmm.
started out okay, and then they just choose the wrong time to be playing bad cricket. But they had a good team. To me, that is why I picked them, because I thought in terms of experience and the talent that they had in that team, I picked them, and especially how they started. And then they just fell to pieces. What they lost, like
Well,
five straight.
5 out of the last 6, I think.
Yeah, five. So things they just fell apart. They
And if
just
you check,
And they won.
and if
They
you check,
won.
and if you check, Vincent, I bet if you check in 5 out of those 6 that they lost, Mr. De Kock didn't come true.
the cup was a big yes. As a matter
Yeah,
of fact, that
because
was a
they
big
were so
difference.
dependent on him And when the
Very
Cock
dependent upon him.
started not making runs as the tournament came to the closing stages, Miller tried a bit, but it was the Cock not making runs was a
Yes,
big problem for
a
them.
big
Yeah,
that was a big difference.
yeah.
I remember it was the Cock when they chased down the turn.
Exactly.
It was But you were right, Basil. I think that was the big difference when he did not
Yeah.
make runs at the end there. They suffered.
Was Trinidad hard done by the lights?
This is the whole problem with the whole Trinidad thing. The CPL, I would argue that the CPL threw the match referee under the bus with their statement, because they did not add in their statement that in the playoffs the time goes from 90 minutes an inning to 95 minutes an inning. So that's where that 10 minutes came in. So when they had told us, the broadcaster said to us, 22:52 or 10:52 would be the time the game would be a no result, right? And then we find out the game was able to start at 11:01 or whatever the case may be when the lights were restored. They did have that 10, but they said, well, it's on the Rayon King, the match referee, the DLS system, blah blah blah. But so all of us were saying, where does 10 minutes come from, right? Out of how y'all come up with this 10 minutes? Somebody was saying, oh, it's a change over time to the two teams. That wouldn't count in and thing. No. And instead, I get a text the next morning from somebody close to the situation and said where they left out was they didn't tell in their statement it's 95 minutes to the playoffs. So no, all this speculation that people were saying that somebody in Guyana pulled the plug on Trinidad and all the things about that would have been thrown out the window. That you would see what they did was within their rules, and you got to go to the rules. And if a team got to make 60 in 5 overs and all 10 wickets, the advantage is to the team batting, because they go in helter skelter from ball
That's
one.
right.
That's
right.
Yeah,
But
it was unfortunate because
Yeah, I agree. I
know,
mean, me per se would like in the playing conditions to see rain is an actor of you is uncontrollable, but light situation that's controllable. So to me, the match should have continued the next day.
Yes.
19.1 overs. Trinidad battled the 5 balls and they bowled the 20. Start the game just a little early before the game with Guyana game. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I agree with you, Basil. As a matter of fact, that's what those were my thoughts too.
Yeah.
Is that especially when you get to that late stage,
playoff game. Yeah.
lose, they have no other chance to come back into the tournament. They're gone.
No, it's it. Yeah.
So that was it. But I think we blaming the CPL and the rules and everything. But this here, I think we are allowing the government of Guyana to get off with this scotch-free.
Mm-hmm.
This here should be full square center blame on the government of Guyana. You cannot tell me you're gonna have a big tournament like this, and with all the investments, they're playing the final stages in your country. And don't let us forget now, based on the reports, they had these issues twice before in recent times and did not fix it.
Yeah.
This should fall. But I hear nobody blaming people blaming the rules and but they should go full square sent on this government that shows total incompetence.
It's quite
embarrassing. I think agreed. I in my view, there should be a thorough investigation, because the 2 times before that we understand these lights malfunction, was it the same reason they were malfunctioned this time? And it would be more than egregious to, through an investigation, that you find out that is the same reason the lights malfunctioned twice before, they malfunction now. So it would lead one to think, was it patchwork you did? You didn't fundamentally correct the issue that it would happen like this again in what one would call very short order.
Yep. And on top of that, just to show you that we're, and with I don't want, I mean, this is not a political statement, but here you have the vice president of that country after this big hiccup with the lights and everything else in the game that we lost. He is making, he's making light of this all. He's telling the folks to cut the lights. You remember he's making signal to cut the light when we were losing in the game, telling them to cut the light in front of everybody on television. Now that's irresponsible, and just it doesn't matter to him. That's a no, never mind. The embarrassment that we suffer. So that's the kind of people that we're dealing with. He doesn't think it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's quite embarrassing. It was quite embarrassing. I mean, and to say that it was the cable, underground cable that burned, but it happened twice before.
Yes.
So why you didn't fix the underground cable?
That's the reason they gave. Okay, I hadn't heard that.
Yes, I heard Jack.
It happened twice before.
Yes, it happened twice before.
But the reason for
the the vice president himself said it. He was told that it was the cables that were underground.
Yeah,
and they burnt. My goodness me.
It's the same, but Dr. Hines, why should it surprise anybody when they're saying that the blackouts are caused by birds flying and landing on the light? And then the next thing then after that, now they're saying the blackouts on the East Coast are being caused by vibrations in pile driving.
Yeah.
So
no, the other embarrassing thing I think about the Guyana leg is the clear. There was only one ethnic group of the.
Dr. Hines, my youngest brother was there, right? And I asked him because I said, I said it looked 80% 20.
No,
said, no, Basil.
Nah.
It's more like 90-something%.
Yep.
Yes.
He said, no. When you there at the venue, he said, no, 90-something%.
Yeah. And there are lots of speculation whether African Guyanese couldn't afford the tickets, etc. Look, let me tell you all, and you all probably know, right? Half of those tickets, they sell them to overseas people. The next half, they give it to the ministries. They give them to the activists of the parties, and they then distribute them to their constituents. How David Hines knows that is not because anybody told me. When the coalition was in power for 2 years running, I was given 40 tickets to give to Buxton. I was given 40 tickets 2 years running to give to Buxton. All right? So that's what they do with the tickets. I know that for sure. All right? So now, of course, the coalition not in power. So nobody will call David Hines and say, here are 40 tickets.
Buxton out like so.
But Dr. Hines,
yes,
Dr. Hines, again, without sounding political, because these are the facts. When the coalition was in there, I have been, because I was in Guyana at the time, I was going to cricket, and you did not see this.
No, it wasn't like this.
It was mixed.
I am explaining to you why it was mixed. Because they were giving African people tickets, and they were
Yeah.
giving Indian people tickets, and we were distributing them to our country.
Right,
You
right.
can see,
Yeah.
I took my 40 tickets to Buxton. There's a cricket team there. I give it to the cricket people, and they give it to the youngsters who are playing cricket. So that those were 40 Africans who got there, who didn't have to buy tickets. All right. And that's
Yeah.
what they do. So
Mhm.
clearly, these tickets were given to the
Yeah.
activists who then share them to one community.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what happened there. It's because it's not true that black people can't afford the tickets.
It looked bad though. It
That's,
looked
that's,
bad.
that's not,
It was something. I mean, especially for us who are Guyanese
Yep.
that know the situation in our country, and then we look in the stands because the first thing you say, wait, black people don't want to come and see cricket.
That's what my wife. I was looking at cricket and the cameras. She said,
Yeah.
"What I mean, Vincent? Like black people don't play cricket in Guyana." I mean,
It was very
that.
glaring. It was very glaring.
Yeah.
Even a casual, a person who was watching that don't know anything about Guyana
Yep.
would have sworn that our population is overwhelmingly
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
of Indian origin.
yeah, that and the blackout, the malfunctioning of the lights were
Mhm.
two biggest embarrassment, along with
Yeah.
Edmire's lack of match awareness
Mhm.
in the final. Immediately after that, the team leaves to go to Sri Lanka. And we are told Puran, Hetmaya, um, Puran, Hetmaya, Hussein, and Russell opted out of the tour,
Mhm.
and that Holder and Mayers
Charles and
and,
McCoy.
and McCoy.
Those are four guys that were in the
Yeah,
World Cup squad.
we weren't sure were they dropped.
Exactly.
You weren't sure about them.
Mhm.
Clearly, when I saw the four people, I wasn't expecting Russell to tour. I think Russell body can't take it anymore. I really do think his body. I looked at him. He just can't. He just can't. So I wasn't expecting him to tour. Right? I think Puran deserve a rest, in my mind. And as Basil said before, said we were chatting before, he said in any case, Puran and Hussein are the shore in the team, the shore in the team. Why Etmaya would choose? Here is a team that you were dropped from for the last year, for obvious reasons. You come into the CPL, despite the fact that you screw up on a couple of occasions, you did excellently. I mean, he was up there in the top 5. Is batting 11 times, and your strike rate is 180. You have done well. All right. And here is your time now to walk back in this team, as we would say, like a man. And you choose. It's only 2 weeks. They're not gone for 2 months. It's only
Correct.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I mean, you choose not to go. Like I said, disclaimer, everybody knows that I'm an Admire fan. So you all can accuse me of dogging him. All right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Brothers, you all help me make sense of this.
I mean,
Are we back to the same thing?
I as an outsider looking in, Hetmeyer hasn't played a lot of cricket. So it can't be he played a lot of cricket and he needs to take a break. There was a whole World Cup where he rode the bench the entire World Cup. And then he played a couple games against South Africa.
One game. He played the last game.
Sorry, the last game he played against South Africa. Right? And then you play the CPL. You're obviously lacking cricket, that you need to play some more cricket, right? And especially go and play cricket in some different conditions against different players, and you're playing international now, which is a step up from the CPL. I would have thought, I could tell you from my perspective, I looking to reestablish myself back into the team. I'm on that tour. No ifs, ands, and buts.
Yes.
Because coming, my goal is to, Mr. Sammy, you gotta find somebody else to drop. You gotta figure out a way, right? Because my mission going on that tour is to reestablish myself into the West Indies team and make it very hard on Sammy to leave me out of the 11. And I mean, I was very, very surprised when I read the release that he was one of the 4 that opted out.
Doctor?
Yeah, of course, I'm old school. So you guys are going to know what I'm going to say
Yeah.
and what I've been saying. To play for your country, it comes first. And I don't care if you cannot play for your country unless you've got some real emergency where, you got a family issue or something. If you cannot play for your country, then you're not going to play anymore for your country. And this whole thing about people wanting rest. These are guys who are only playing T20.
Yeah.
So, I could understand if they're playing all 3 formats. These are guys who are only playing because they said, these are guys who were saying, we don't want to play Test cricket. And, because the T20 is where the money is. Got Test cricket, it's more strenuous, to be honest, to be out there 5 days and all that kind of stuff. They're playing, Hetmai and them, they would go and bat for 3 or 4 overs. And you feel for hour and a half or whatever it is. So this year, don't come and tell me that they want to rest for this. I don't buy that kind of stuff. These guys, they pick and choose because we allow them to, and the fans also. The administration allowed it. We got to put down. If we say here, something, when you are called to play for your country, you will pay for your country, or else, unless you've got an emergency. See how this would stop immediately. Look at Kohli and these people who play. Those guys. How many of those big stars that from them other countries does say, just willy-nilly, like how we do on such a regular basis, said we're not playing or we're not going on this tour? How many times does that happen?
But look at Gorbaz. Look at Gorbaz.
Yeah,
Gorbaz is playing the CPL.
That's right.
Afghanistan said,
that's right.
Jump on that plane, come and play. He goes, he plays for Afghanistan, comes back on the plane and comes. Which is saying to me the franchises would be flexible.
Yes.
If the player says, look, I want to play franchise cricket, but I want to play for my country.
Yeah.
And if you want me to play your franchise, you got to flex with me and my country. The Gorbaz situation shows that the franchises are not the problem.
No.
It is our players. Anyhow, go ahead, Basil.
Of those players that opted out, Hussein is the only one I think that has a central contract, and I don't know why West Indies board would allow him to opt out. Right? He's Hussein only plays white ball cricket.
That's right.
Well, what he need a rest?
And he only plays T20. He's not even in the ODI team anymore.
I don't think he's in the ODI.
He's not in the ODI team. He hasn't been for a couple of years.
So say with Mr. Puran also, right?
Yes.
He only plays T20. He hasn't played the ODI game since the World Cup qualifiers.
That's right.
So those guys, this opting out, I raise my eyebrow because look. They got the new rule, the IPL. Now, if a player leave early, you get banned from being drafted for 2 years. And Cummins, the Australian captain, commented, and he said, I have never. He said in the past, he said that wouldn't even bother me per se because I don't even think I'll be playing in the IPL again for a while because my focus is Test cricket and winning World Cups. So playing in the IPL is not high on his agenda. And you see right where his focus is, playing for his country. Yes. Right? And this is a point also that is often overlooked. Puran is a big star now. West Indies cricket brand has been waning for years.
Yep.
When our best players gonna decide they feel like playing here. That is hurting our brand.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
When you
That's
go to
right.
Sri Lanka, you don't think the Sri Lankans also not only coming out to see their players, but they're also coming out to see a Puran come there. A lot of them going to want to see a Puran bat live in person because of the stature he has gained. I admire because both of them got big names in the stratosphere of T20 cricket. And this is the part the West Indies cricket brand gets hurt when we are not able to field the best players on our team and in these kinds of situations. And that's something that needs to be looked at really hard, and these guys need to understand that, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's all wrong disappointment because I'll tell you the truth, is West Indies playing, but with some of these guys now in the team, it don't got the same pull for me to
Right,
want to
right,
watch
right.
the games.
No.
So
No.
this is something that these guys that I think the West Indies, if I hope they have, but if they haven't, they should really sit down with these guys and go through the economics and all of these things, these things, so these guys could understand the importance of them representing their country. Because I know they already know this, that had it not been for them playing for West
For them
Indies,
playing for the
nobody.
That's right.
West
That's
Indies,
exactly correct.
It's West Indies open up the thing for them. Not to say they owe West Indies, but for those coming behind you, if this brand gets worse and worse, nobody gonna want West Indian cricketers.
That's right. No. But they do owe us because
They do
we
all
invested in
Vasil.
them.
They do.
Vasil, we invested in them.
Yeah,
And the 13, and the 15,
That's right.
and the 17
No, but
coming right through.
No, but hear what I'm saying. I don't want to play. If I'm gonna using that argument to them,
Okay.
I'm not gonna make it where I looking to shame them. I gonna bring out the actual dollars and cents.
All
The
right.
fact, how much it costs to develop a player. So these guys could actually see in black and white the investment that we're talking Rum Shapi. Because a guy told me, you remember Tony Howard, who played the off spinner from Barbados? Right.
I think
Tony
he
Howard
was
the
Adams.
I think he at the time he was the COO of West Indies Cricket Board. And he was commissioned to do a study as to the investment from under 15, a player from under 15 all the way to international. And the number I was told by somebody who was at the West Indies board at the time, it was more than $1 million US. It was somewhere about $2 million US.
I won't doubt.
For each player that make it from under 15 and go all the way to the top.
Yeah.
So when you actually now showing them in dollars and cents, this is not Rum Shop talk. So when we ask you this is not about loyalty. This is business we're talking here.
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. Hey, Doctor, I gotta give a shout out to my hometown boy there from Lynn and Basil. Know him, Lester Parkinson. All the way from
South Africa. Yes.
Africa.
Yes, he says looking at us from Jordan.
Wait. This is the guy that's related to Parko and family.
I don't know if he's I don't know if he's the family boy.
Okay.
But I saw Lester was at the thing last weekend in he came all the way for the Linden Fund.
The Linden Fund thing that you got honored.
I get to socialize.
Yeah. We talking about these guys that are not touring. I can't help but we missed them today. I mean, we won.
Yeah.
But after the openers posted 84 in the play, the super, what you call
the power
play. We struggled to make another 97 runs, 96 runs. It took us 13 to 14 overs to make. And clearly, gosh, I feel sorry for the captain because he clearly can't handle top class spin.
Let me tell you, I told some guys, I see I told some guys in one of our chat, Vincent, in the chat with me. I said his days are numbered as captain, because we cannot continue to carry a guy that is not. I mean, the World Cup, he was he was poor, and he continued through the South Africa series, and now the start of this series again, and it's not gonna get better for this series because Sri Lanka got good spinners,
Yeah.
and and so he's gonna have a tough go in Sri Lanka, right? And as I told you, Dr. Hines, he was the man, in my view, that was
Keeping out
keeping
the team.
Hetmeyer out of the 11,
Yeah.
right? I made a statement. I made a bold statement. I said, give Chase the captaincy because Chase command the place in that 11,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yes, and Chase has a particular role in the 11.
Yes, Chase.
All right? Because if Chase didn't hang around there today, he made 19.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have crossed the line. They
Yeah.
clearly couldn't get the ball off the square.
Yeah,
You know?
I was telling a guy in the same chat me a bit said that the guy made a statement quick in the game. If we get on the power play without losing wickets, we can cruise. I said, do not make premature predictions. I said, remember, it's after the power play where we struggle in the middle overs. And so said, so done that it came down to the last over for us to cross the line.
Yeah.
And then
I
I reminded people, Mr. Rutherford again stayed and guide the ship through.
Yeah.
And I explained to people that is why Rutherford is so valuable. He has established himself as a most reliable person when things going bad for we in the team. You know, he bats situations really well when things are rough. If you want to call it, he's a guy showing himself to develop into a guy we could call Mr. Crisis. Because every time he walked to the wicket, we seem like we are under pressure.
Hey, but I'm glad that I've always been a Chase man. I'm glad that people are seeing the value of this guy even at his age, and how he takes on this responsibility. And the guy is a winner.
Yeah.
The guy, it doesn't matter how bad what position you're in, and he appears to be so cool, calm, and collective. He doesn't rush anything, come in. He takes his time, and depending on the situation, he plays to the situation.
Yeah.
And here, the most amazing thing besides this batting and bowling, the guy is feeling.
He's a very good fielder.
Yeah.
He's a very good fielder.
Yeah.
Very
The
good
guy's feeling like a 20-year-old.
And although also being a very good fielder, he's a very good catcher.
Oh gosh, yes.
He's a very good catcher.
At gully, and look today, he took a catch. You would never believe that this guy. Well, how old is he, Basim? But 35.
No, not even 35. His early.
No, he's 32. He's 32. He was born in, I think, 1992.
One of the things, Vincent, everybody who knows Chase will tell you, he takes pride in his fitness.
Yeah. You can tell.
He takes pride in his fitness. Yeah. That year, you remember that year, he was one of them that failed the fitness tests.
Yes.
I remember the president, Riley, BCA president, was querying because he said, "Wait, Chase? No. Russell Chase don't fail fitness tests." That's how he was, because everybody around cricket and Barbados know that Chase is the guy that keeps himself really fit, and that was like a one-off situation, Yep.
Yeah, Ralph is asking here why Rutherford left the CPL prematurely.
Well, there's all kind of speculation. We'll leave that one alone.
Ralph, we when he left, we reflected on the reason.
And there was speculation as to there's some issues within the team. Let me leave it at that, because we don't know.
Right. It's good to see Evan Lewis back in the team.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
he's gonna make Sammy's job hard.
Yeah.
Yes. It's good to see him back in the team.
Yeah.
And he's really striking. I always think he's a proper batsman who should be playing across formats. He's in the ODI team. And I remember when Michael Olden saw him about 5-6 years ago, he said, this guy should be playing Test cricket. I remember
Well,
distinctly. Yeah,
yes.
go ahead.
The problem he too is not a one of those that don't want to play red ball
Don't
cricket.
want to play.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
want to play.
Because I noticed directly that the guy who then was the then chairman of the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board selector told me he reached out to Lewis to come to play for Trinidad, and Lewis said, "No, he ain't interested."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was saying the same thing like Holden, because you remember there was a time when Lewis was clearly our best white ball batsman. Period.
Hmm.
Whether it's ODI and T20. You remember when he made a big, he would have made a double century in that game against England at the Oval. The
Yes.
ball hit here, I get a Yorker, and he had to retire hurt at 175. England didn't know what to do with Lewis. That was when Lewis was at the top of his powers, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that was when we were body looking for opener, and everybody said, "Man, Lewis, TNT asked." He said, "Nah, I'm interested."
Well, I'm glad, first of all, Lewis is the closest thing to Chris Gale. I mean,
Mhm.
it's very, very similar.
Yes.
But I am glad that I want King, because the two batsmen that should play all formats for me, I've always said, Hope and King. And now that King has come back after his injury, I'm glad to see that he's batting well. So at
Mhm.
the top of the West Indies batting, I mean, with Lois back here, we've got
Mhm.
Hope, we've got King, then you got Puran, and maybe if Yatmai comes back, I think we're gonna have a really good middle that we're gonna get a good start. But in the middle, you're gonna have people that you can also rely upon. And of
Mhm.
course, I don't think that I'm like Basil. I don't think that Powell is gonna last too long in that mix, because you got Rutherford and all these other players down in the middle there. So I think we're gonna be solid going into the next World Cup, and Sammy
Mhm.
is gonna have some, because even my boy Mears.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering why if you're gonna call Mares, because now you're gonna got serious competition
That's
to get in
exactly
the
right.
team, and that's what we want. We want
That's exactly
serious
right.
competition, and may
Yeah,
the guy who they feel suited best get in the team. No, but this thing with Powell, this is a broken record. You remember we made
yeah,
Powell the ODI captain, and
You-
in short order we had to get rid of him because he wasn't pulling his weight as a batsman. And
yeah,
now we're seeing this is catching up with him now with the T20, which was his strongest suit, T20
yeah,
batting, right?
I think the positive attitude by the two openers today in the power play
Yeah.
made a big difference. After a long time, I think it was clear that they went out there in the power play with a plan, and they
yeah,
worked the plan. Now you could always, one of them could have gotten out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the high risk you take in the power play. But what I looked at was the approach.
Hmm.
The approach. What say the two of you?
I
yeah.
agree.
I always say, and that is why I like, I always and that's why I like King and Hope, someone of them at the top, because, and then you get somebody like a Lois, because Lois could only play one way, and he's gonna come in. Lois, let me say Lois and the Mears, especially in that power play, let them go after it. But then if something happens, you still got your plan is always to have somebody at the top to bat long, just in case you lose wicket, to make sure that they bat through. And I think that is why you got Hope and King at the top with the Lewis in that 1, 2, 3 slot. And I think we're set. But I think that no, I agree that they came out there today. And of course, Lewis could only play one way, and then King, of course, King went also, and it worked out. But it's not that it's gonna happen every single time. We're gonna lose a lot of
Yes,
times. We're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
lose
yeah, yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
lose an early wicket. But the thing is, I think we've got the top there. So even if we lose an early wicket, you still got the number 3 coming in, and you still got the guy who was there at the top to bat long. The idea is, the one thing that you always tell your players: let's keep the wicket in hand while we keep the score going. So you all, I mean, And a tip, you don't need anything more than the how Jones and how
And
Jones
Chase,
and
Chase,
Chase
Chase.
won that game. You need to keep the wickets in because this when you remember when they were losing wickets and they stopped it and they took their time not to lose any more wickets because if you keep wickets in hand, I always say, and you've got a batsman who can strike, who can up the tempo later on that they've been if they can stay there. Don't worry with early going slow. If you got wickets in hand and you've got a player who is set or two players who are set, they can go after it later on. It's keep the wickets in hand with good players.
Basil, I have a little thing today with the team. They played Shamar Springer
Hmm.
instead of Fabian Allen. I thought that was a little mistake. Fabian
Hmm.
Allen, I think, will give you a couple overs, just as Springer give you a couple overs. He can come and hit down, but the guy is going to save you. He's going to save you at least 20 runs. And he's less likely to drop a catch. Don't know how difficult it is. I think with the big boys not being in the team, there was a good time to slotting him there instead of Springer. It's not the biggest deal, but
Yeah,
I think. Go
I
ahead.
think, I think the West Indies, the conditions, the first game, I think the first game is a feeling out to see which players would be most better suited for the conditions. I think something we got to look at. Lewis hasn't been on the international circuit for a while, so you know, guys haven't had a chance to bowl to Lewis, and so they now would get some intel about Lewis. Lewis, so it'll be interesting to see how they attack Lewis in the next game. Um, because and credit to Lewis, Lewis took his time because you know he hadn't played for the West Indies. It's been a while, right?
Almost 2 years.
Yes, he hadn't played for the West Indies, and he took his time. And the way King came out blazing, it took a lot of pressure off him that allowed him to take his time to get in, and then you know he got into his groove and so on. So which is what you like to see partnerships batting. You know that's what we call batting in partnerships. You know, a guy is going could take pressure off of you. So because at one time Lewis was below 100 strike rate, you know. So yeah, I
Fabian
would
Allen.
be
Fabian Allen.
Fabian Allen. You know, the Sri Lankan team, when they played against spin, um, those guys, they're capable against spin, and I would think also the Sri Lankan team, all of them would have seen Fabian Allen before because you know Fabian Allen plays a lot in the Sri Lanka T20 leagues,
Yeah.
right? And you know probably want to see how a seamer like Springer would work out, you know. But I wouldn't be surprised if Fabian Allen finds his way in the next game, you know, in the 11 in the next game. I wouldn't be surprised because uh, it would be foolish that all the guys who go on this tour for this T20, all of them don't get a chance to play, albeit it's only 3 matches.
Right.
But you want the whole thing. This is an exploratory thing, right? So the guys who get slotted in, and not being in the team, those guys need a chance to get to play before they come back to the Caribbean.
Mhm.
You know, I that it didn't surprise me because Springer had a great CPL.
Yeah,
They
he
had
sure did.
and they I think Sammy and especially Sammy and he's indicated several times he's looking at this tour, looking forward to really the World Cup, to preparing to see to give some other people a look. And if you had to give one person a look, it it's Springer. You know, he did so well in the
Mm-hmm.
CPL, and so I think that's what this was about because everybody knows Fabian Allen, who he is so you know it's not a case where you got to test him anymore. And Basil that and like Basil said, I think the other reason is also that you know we going into a country where players know how to play spin bowling, And I think, but I think it's more to give give a lot of players a look at for the next game, for example, like Basil said, he might go back to the Fabian Islands or there. But I think I didn't have a problem with playing him.
Mm-mm.
I think
Shamar
he
Joseph
learned his
looked
spot.
good. Shamar Joseph looked good today.
Shamar
Shamar Joseph looked good today.
Yeah, four over
here.
27 runs in 10
Alzari
bowls.
Joseph continues to
Yep.
make
Yeah,
us scratch.
But correct me
So
here if I'm wrong, Basil.
mhm.
Isn't this the first time that Shamar in T20 is open the bowling?
Yes.
Didn't he open against South Africa and Jamaica?
That's what I thought that this was. I can't remember.
No. No.
I gotta
I
check.
think
I'm gonna check.
he bowled in the power play, but I don't think he
Mhm.
opened.
But
But
he was very impressive today, and to me, he has arrived because he looked much better than Azari, who's been around for a long time before. You would say that Azari should have been much farther along than he is. But Shamar really impressed me today. And I said this the first time he opened the bowling, but he was really impressive. And to me, he's in my books anyway now. Even though it's early, but I think he's learning very quick, and he's my number one quick that we've got now in white ball cricket T20.
the global T20 cricket that is coming next month to our country. What is that
Yeah.
all about?
That's a
That
good question.
yeah,
Is it capitalism gone mad? As
boy,
people said?
I tell you that well, I don't know them guys. I wonder how much our money is going to be put into that.
Well, it's plenty of money going to put into clearly somebody, baby. I mean, I thought when I first saw the thing, I thought they were doing a West Indies kind of T20 thing where the six teams are going to play, but without the overseas people and so on. I thought that the direction they were going, but somebody seemed to be trying to make money.
Yeah.
The Shamar opened in the game, the last game in the before the World Cup.
Uh-huh.
Him and Hussein opened the ball in that
Okay.
last. Yeah.
Okay.
But Dr. Hines, I'll say this.
Yeah.
Isn't this GSL or whatever it's called, Super League, is supposed to be a tourist something to do with tourism Guyana. But if you really want to make sure you're drawing people to the stands, wouldn't it make sense to have Trinidad part of this?
That's my point. That's precisely my point.
That is the one game that you guarantee gonna be packed up. You think people gonna be coming to pack up to watch some of them other teams? No. But Trinidad game, when we play in Trinidad, so as far as concerned, this Super League, Trinidad should be the other Caribbean team in the thing.
I think so.
There's a rivalry that if you're looking to bring people to the stand, to bring fans to it. But I don't see. I am very skeptical about the crowd reaction to some of those teams that are coming, because there ain't no marquee people coming with these teams.
Yeah, and that is why I say that to me this year is going to be heavily subsidized.
It's money. It's money.
Right.
And I am concerned about us not trying to balance making money and developing our cricket. I mean, people can make money, but at the end of the day, we have to develop the brand. It's the brand. It's the brand. Even in the market, the cricket market now, the brand matters, And at the end of the day, it has to be developing West Indies cricket. Clive Lloyd, technical advisor to the Guyana Cricket Board. Doc,
Clive should have been part. Well, of course, I don't even think it's about Guyana. He should have been part of the West Indies at the top there, helping out in similar capacity. So without question is gonna help. It's gonna help Guyana. If and I'm hoping that this is not another political gimmick to show that you've got a Clive Lloyd face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the last time around, the
And
last time around, they got him caught up in their stupid politics
that's right.
Correct.
And
with
they're
the
gonna allow
interim
him.
management story.
That,
Yes,
Because
that's why
I
we
know
were.
that Clive is very serious about cricket in the West Indies. As
yeah.
a matter of fact, Clive even he's got a written plan for cricket in the West Indies, Guyana and the West Indies. So I hope that they're gonna give him the opportunity to do his own thing rather than them trying to direct him and play their political games. So, but I think it's a big plus because I know how Clive feel about cricket is very close to his heart and soul when it comes to Ghana and the West Indies. But he's got to be allowed to have the freedom to express and do the things that he feels is best for the country. So
Any
it's
thoughts
a,
there, Basil?
it's a good thing.
Huh?
It's a good
Any
thing.
Yeah, I
thoughts?
mean, if you anytime, my wariness is about the political
Yeah,
gimmicks,
yeah, yeah.
because you saw him being something with the GSL, and
Mhm.
then right off the heels of that, we heard about disappointment, right? And even in the article, it says that through discussions with the president, so the president had a hand in Clive being appointed to this technocrat position. Now the question for us as cricket, the constituents, that that press release to me is inadequate. We want to know what exactly would be the role of the technocrat. What would
Right.
Clive be asked to do? What would, let us get some specifics. So at the end of the day, we could say, well, Clive did a good job or he didn't do a good job, right? But you make this general statement and just using the guy like a figurehead, or using his name or his notoriety. Oh yeah, we got Clive Lloyd on the board and so on, but you're not taking what Clive Lloyd is trying to offer to you seriously. I would got serious problems if it's that what it turns out to be.
What I would like to see, what I would like to see is Clive himself, go have a press conference.
Correct, and be able to answer those questions
That's
like
right,
what I
and
just
say
posed.
that's right,
Yeah,
and because I know that he's gonna what he's gonna say, he's gonna whatever he's gonna promise there is what he feels is right for the country, and put them on the spot.
correct.
So they can't go and want to back out of it when he's made a public statement that this is what his intention is.
Yeah, because even like when he became the convener of selectors, I remember he had an interview. It wasn't a press conference, and he was explaining what his role would be in that position.
Hmm.
So you had an understanding of what the word convener meant, because we had never used that word in the past
Hmm.
in West Indies cricket selectors. It was chairman. Now we had this new name, convener of selectors,
Yeah.
right? And so he gave a description of the job that he is charged to do. And I agree with Vincent, that should be something there too, because our cricket, from the clubs all the way up to the national teams in Guyana, there's a lot to be desired in our cricket.
and
Today I was
and
looking at
again,
a clip. I
sorry.
was looking at the clip today. I'm not clip. I was looking partially at the Jones Cup match that was streamed with Borbis and
Yes,
um,
I
and,
was
and
coming to that. Yeah.
Quibble. And I mean, the ground that they were playing the game on is substandard. This is a level below national, and you playing on such a substandard ground. These are all the little things why our cricket is where it is. That you don't see in the prestige of intercounty cricket, that you're going to play it in such a substandard ground. And
Yeah.
then there was another intercounty game today at Bordeaux, right? And one interesting thing, one of my friends was at the game, and he called me after. And Border don't even have a scoreboard anymore.
Oh,
So you
Jesus
watching the
Christ.
game, the scoreboard that break down, they ain't got no scoreboard. So if you watching the game as a spectator, you would never know what the score. You gotta find somebody who's the person who's scoring, like you at some some match, some little match on the side with two men with a book, you know.
So Basil, who played at border then? Because as you come up with
Demerara against
Development team.
the development team, the president's team. They called it last time. They called it the president's 11. So it was Demerara against them.
okay.
Yeah.
Before we go, well, I noticed, and I asked about him a couple of weeks ago, and I know the mayor was on, and he said, he must be somewhere. Beaton is back. What I want to ask,
he played today.
Yeah, I know he played today. What I want to ask, does that mean that he's cleared, or you can play?
He was cleared. He was cleared. The issue is this, Dr. Hines. The process. Remember, the video, the Loughborough University or the biomechanics lab, where the videos are sent, they are not in control of the production of the video.
Yeah.
All they will do, you send the videos, they do their analysis and determine whether your action is legal or not. The issue is in the production of the video that Beaton sent up. It was done in a private way. It was not where an independent thing did the video. So if he goes out and plays in a regional match again, is likely that he could be called again if his action is, because today where he was bowling from, the camera was facing him, so you didn't get to see from the back where you could get a better view from the back to tell whether or not. When I saw him bowl today, so that is where, because I was told, as a person was telling me, they said this is a fault of West Indies Cricket Board. Anytime a player has an illegal action, it should be not just them run up bowling in the nets. They should have to be in a competitive match where the adrenaline is flowing and all of that stuff. The competitiveness is high, and you take the videos and you send the clips to say, is this guy's action legal or not?
Yeah, I was looking at him.
Basil, how is that possible, though?
How is it possible?
How is it possible that they would? I mean, isn't there a process?
Well,
how could they miss that major step where you have to have an independent?
This is on the home board, right? And this is where West Indies board has led. West Indies board is at fault, right? Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be where, he gets to be producing this video.
No. And even if there is an independent panel, I like your point, Basil, which is that the way you test the bowler's action is when that bowler is in action in a competitive environment. You can't get him in a scripted environment,
right?
And test him.
Controlled environment.
A controlled environment.
Yes. That's right.
So like this match today, a match like this, you would take video footage, and then you send that footage to the biomechanic lab, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. I was looking at him today, and I'm not an expert, but I was watching him, and as you quite rightly said,
it's funny. I didn't even think of that. But that you said it, because the game was on YouTube, I'm going to go back and scroll it to see when he bowled and watch and see. Because I remember seeing him bowl, but he was facing the camera.
Right.
But still, I know what I could do. I could take a video of it and then slow it down and see, how much the elbow is bent, and then if it straightens on delivery. And because if you can see how much the elbow is bent with the naked eye, and then on delivery, his elbow is fully extended, which means straightened, you know the guy pelting. Because the naked eye can't pick up 15 degrees.
Right.
From that distance,
I was looking at him when he goes wide of the crease, because I think that's where the pelting does happen.
And when he tried to bowl the bumper, the extra effort.
He goes by the crease and tried to bowl that bumper. You could have seen last year the Super 50.
I remember when the season when he got written up. I remember he run up and bowled a guy a bumper, and I saw a lot of mercy. That guy looked like Roger Clemens.
um, what Basil? Where is Chandrapal Hemraj?
He was last playing cricket here in the United
That's
States.
that there. He
Yeah,
done. He's finished with
he's
Guyana.
just not picked. That's it. I don't know. Well, now that this intercounty, I don't know what the Demerara team constituted of because he's from Demerara. So,
Yes, he's not in the team. I saw a
oh, he's not
Hemraj.
in the team. Okay.
Yeah, I saw a Dindial Hemraj or
Yes.
something, and
Yeah,
I thought the newspaper spelled his name wrong, right?
Mm.
So I was
Yeah,
waiting
Dindial
today.
is the guy that play on the 19 for West Indies.
Right. So I was waiting today to see if I see him, and I didn't see him today. So I sometimes, and the thing is that you have to go talk name with somebody to hear these things because the media don't follow.
Yeah, well,
these.
that is the poverty of our sports media. It always leaves us to speculate, or as you say, you got somebody who knows somebody that could pass on information to you. When all of these things are basic 101, we live in the United States, we watch professional sports, and we see how some of the things they feel is state secret is 101. You know what I mean?
Yep.
West Indies board is the same thing. You know, that is that has been a grouse of mine with the West Indies board forever. Some basic things that would leave would clear away all speculation. They don't do it, and everybody's speculating.
Finally, brothers, they've lifted this rule, or based on what the reports are saying, they have lifted the rule that you have to play in the 4-day competition in order to get picked in the test team. They have lifted it, and they're speculating that Puran and others can now be available to play test cricket. I am glad that they lifted the rule. But only for exceptions. I think we still have to insist that these guys play 4-day cricket. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had some debates on this new thing with some former Guyana player who will be nameless, and my position was, look, Puran, Shehope, etc. If they get picked to play test cricket and they fail, they get dropped.
That's right.
Right? They're playing international cricket, and if the coach feels that these guys can be an asset to his test team, you pick them, and if they don't come through, they get dropped. Right? Simple as that. Now, a guy who hasn't played test international cricket, obviously that guy got to come through the ranks. Right? But these guys, because they played international cricket. See, even a guy like Brandon King, you know, I feel Brandon King should be playing test cricket.
I think so.
I watched Brandon King bat in the last regional tournament a couple times.
Yes.
I specifically watched a Jamaica game because I wanted to see how he shaped up. And you could see this guy was a cut above the rest of them, even though he didn't make more runs. But if you were selected, you looking at him and you look at the rest of the batters, you could see he was a cut above the rest. It looked like the only way they could out him is he had to do something stupid. The bowling was not troubling him. And he showed temperament, because at times I saw Brandon King stay. Here is a guy that opens the batting in T20 and comes out like somebody, a bullet gets shoot out of a gun. And I watched this guy bat in the 40s before he got to 50. Bat for probably like a half an hour or so before he got to 50. It showed me the temperament that he showed me, that temperament in that instance, you know. But it's when he went to try to play like his white ball ways, that's how he got out. And
remember, he said he wants to play test cricket, but he
always says that. And
He's back in the middle. He doesn't want to open.
he has a decent first class record.
Yes, he had a double. He has a double
No, he don't have a double.
He's not a double?
He has an average that's 36 or 37
Yeah.
in first class cricket.
Yeah, I think he got a big 100 in first class cricket.
Yeah, he has 2 big hundreds.
Yeah. Nicolette is saying here that Johnson Charles was seen on crutches on arrival in St. Lucia.
Oh, well, now look at that. She is saying that. Why couldn't they put that in
Why couldn't they? Yeah, and get
in
the
release? Johnson Charles is injured, so we're not speculating.
Yeah.
These are the simple things I tell you about West Indies Cricket Board.
Yeah. Doc, I don't think Puran is going to make it in Test cricket. I love Puran.
No,
If you notice Puran, I mean, let's talk a little bit about Puran. A lot of times Puran gets out in the T20, knocking the ball high up in the air. I just as the other one does get thing tugging it over so. Puran gets out a lot of time and he get lucky, must he get lucky seed in the pocket.
Because he made it 90-something.
Yeah, he's knocking the ball always high up in the air, and I'm looking at that, because like I said, at my problem, he want to tug it from half mile over there till over there, and I think Puran gets out a lot with hitting that ball in the air. I don't think he'll make it in Test cricket, but who am I?
Here's the difference. Here's the difference, Doc.
Yeah.
Batting, when you get to this level, batting is 90% mental.
Correct.
And that's the big difference between Puran and Hetmeyer. Look at where Puran came from. I remember, and I can't remember the year, but I probably remember. I saw Puran the very first time on television, right here, look, in the United States. When the under 19 team was in England, when he was a wicketkeeper, and he came in and he batted, and then he made it in the Trinidad team. I always liked Puran from the very first time I saw him. This is a guy who worked his tail off. Remember, this was the same guy who thought, we all thought that he would have never played cricket again.
Right. But
Puran, he changed from a wicketkeeper and became one of the best fielders. I saw Puran out in the field.
But Doc, you're not addressing the question.
No, but here's what.
It's okay to say that in batting a couple of overs in 2020.
I'm building
we're
it
talking
up.
about Test match.
I am building it up to tell you that Puran is one of those batsmen who could adjust and change his style to the situation.
Okay.
He works in his game and he's mentally tough. So I believe just because he's become the number one, in my opinion, the best T20 batsman, well, among the top T20 batsmen in the world. I believe he can do the same because he works in his game and he understands it. And I think he can adjust just based on how he has come from, he's always been making adjustments. If a guy could get into an accident, nobody didn't expected him to come back, work on his game, come back. Even he's a good fielder, even though you started as a wicketkeeper. So I think he can adjust, and he plays the 360 thing, not again comparing him to Hetmeyer. He plays on the offside, he plays on the onside. But I think if he gets into Test cricket, he's gonna adjust his style. I really do believe it.
I agree. He would have to adjust because you don't be looking to hit sixes in Test cricket.
I think
he's gonna understand it. He gotta look to hit the ball more on the ground than in the air, because the field placements, you don't got the field restrictions in Test cricket, He's gonna learn. He's gonna to leave a lot more balls. So it's a whole adjustment, an adjustment he will have to make. And I would like to see if he could make it. In terms of his stroke playing ability, he's par excellence. And a guy like him could come and excite us to have an exciting battle like that playing Test cricket would be a big thing for us.
Yeah.
Because we as West Indian fans, we are always accustomed to having some exciting batters in our teams, which we don't have at the moment.
Right. Look at Harry Brook.
Yeah.
Who plays T20 cricket in Test cricket.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Doc's reasoning I agree with your reasoning, but I think I'm going with a subtle thing with Basil. I want to see Etmaya and Puran play 4-day cricket.
I too.
Yeah, but
And then
you see,
I am going to pass my. I think they have it within them. I'm going with you, Doc. They have it within them.
but
I
this
am
is the
saying,
problem.
that T20 thing, we cannot judge them
Oh, I
in
agree.
Test cricket based on
And-
what they do on the
Yes,
And
T20.
I am only saying this about, if you notice, it's about Puran and based on his history. Because like I said, he has adjusted his life. I can't guarantee that that's what he's gonna do. We all would love to see both of them play test cricket, but here's a guy who to me has adjusted his life in the situation, and that's what is based on that.
Yeah.
It may
but
he may,
you see,
and he,
one
by
is
the
so,
way, before that, Bassett, but the thing is that he would have to want it. These guys have gotten addicted to
Yes.
T20. He would have to want to do that. Everything else that he had to do, he was forced to do it to change. But does he really want to play test cricket and to
yeah.
put in the effort to adjust it? That is the big question.
No, 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 no. The interesting thing, we got a test series coming up against Bangladesh. Now that the coach Kohli has the ability or the green light,
The authority.
if he wants to pick those guys, and we'll see. But what I would say about Puran is that he has that ability. The thing about it, the thing I wanted to point out, you wanted him to play 4-day cricket, and that's where the problem is, because he is out there making his big bucks.
That's right.
When our 4-day season is on.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna expect Mr. Puran gonna forego that money to come and play no regional 4-day. That is the reality.
Which is quite unfortunate. I am
Right,
saying
because if you remember,
yeah.
if you remember, Dwayne Bravo was playing in the Big Bash in Australia. Left his Big Bash contract to come and play in our regional 50 over. And when they picked the team for the World Cup in 2015, he was dropped. Despite being at the time the number one ranked all-rounder in ODI cricket, because of politics he got dropped.
Right. Yeah.
But
The whole India fiasco. And Bravo said he would never do that again.
But Doc, and that's the big question. And I still do not believe that these superstar T20 players that are making all this tons of money, they will play test cricket. I remember again, test cricket, these guys go out there for a few minutes, bat and enjoy themselves. And I'm telling you, that same Puran and the Hetmeyers, specifically Puran, because I remember having a discussion with somebody who was responsible for determining whether he plays test cricket or not. Puran told him clearly that he's not interested in playing test cricket. And this was before Puran even became a superstar in the 20s. So if he's not going to play test cricket, then when he's now trying to make his way, you think he's going to play test cricket now that...
I mean, the other thing too, Puran don't even make himself available to play ODI cricket.
That's
Only
right.
time he make himself available to play ODI cricket is when we coming up to World Cup, and we can see if he's gonna do that this time around, right? Because the last time he played was in the World Cup qualifiers. He hasn't played ODI cricket since.
Yeah. No. I think when I look at somebody like Athanaze, who got a load of talent, Athanaze would benefit batting with people like Puran and Hetmaya and these guys in one
Test
day,
cricket.
a test cricket, a 4-day match, along Joel Andrews coming in, going into a team where you don't have people in there who you can feed off. It's not helping them. I really do think that Athanaze, Joel Andrew, and these youngsters really would benefit from these so-called stars. Well, not so-called, they're stars. I mean, clearly when you look at the Puran. I mean, if a Puran, a Hetmaya, Hope in our middle order, their names on paper will drive some fear in opposing some, well, not the Australians, and maybe but certainly they will drive some concern in the opponents. But like I said, they have to want to do it, and I am not sure.
They gotta want to do it. They
I
gotta
am not
want to.
sure that want to do it, and I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that's the jury is out on that.
Yeah,
No,
I am not sure that our board has the courage. The last time Ernest Hilaire tried to do it, um, I mean, we beat him up for being anti-player and so on and so forth.
yeah. You know, the thing about this is, I believe that our players, we got to try to strike a balance. So sit down with these guys and see if we could strike a balance. So guys, you can you'll play X number of T20 tournaments, and you know you gotta make yourself available to play for West Indies, because that's the reality of the environment we're in today. You know, and come to that's one of the reasons why Puran doesn't have a central contract anymore, because we can't hold him to no you know, we can't hold him at all. But I think the West Indies board, I would love somebody to explain to me why they gave these guys a leeway. You know, I mean, the other day when Puran was still under contract, he was playing Major League Cricket in the States while we was playing that one-day series against India, right? And that was and I was like, what nonsense is this? This guy's on a central contract. How are we allowing him to do that? You know? He should have left early and joined the team.
Yeah. I still like the Gorbaz model, which is make your money.
Absolutely.
You gotta think, come back, play. For your thing, go back and make your money. I
Pakistan, Pakistan has a different version. Any Pakistan central contracted player or Pakistan players, they're allowed to play 2 tournaments a year. A calendar year starts from June 1st to June 4th. Whatever, right? So you can play 2, right? Outside of the Pakistan Super League, you can play 2 overseas leagues, right? You can't play more than 2. Because one of the things they also want is they want as many of their good players playing in their domestic cricket. So the standard of the cricket could be of some kind of quality. Because look at Fakhar Zaman. He came and played the early part in the CPL, and he left and went back. It wasn't because of international duty. He had to go and play in their 50 over competition.
There you go. Yep. There you go. Basil Butcher Jr., Dr. Vincent Adams, thank you all very much for coming through again this week. We'll see you all next week. The next T20 match is on Tuesday. Then the other one is Thursday, and I think the one there start on the weekend. So we'll have lots to talk about when we come back next week. Thank you all very much.
Hey, Basil, where do you see that? I flip around on YouTube this morning, and then I got the game, but then I only got the 4 innings, and then they switched to another program.
Which game? The Sri Lanka game?
Sri Lanka, yeah.
It's on Rush. I got it on Rush.
You got a Fire Stick, Doc, right? Yeah. Well, I watched it too. I watched it on TNT Sports, which is the channel out of the UK. Because I got.
Oh, you got it on TNT.
Yeah, not TNT America's, TNT UK. TNT used to be BT UK Sports.
But how did you get that, Basil?
Well, I got, the app, the IPTV app on the Fire Stick.
That's what I have, the IPTV.
IPTV, you got all them channels.
You get all of them.
All them channels. That was the thing I was trying to get you to install that time with that guy.
Yeah, that's right. And I had problems getting it on. I even bought the Fire Stick and everything else. And
because that's where I watched the game, because I text Johnny Graves, right? I said, Johnny, where we in the USA? So he said, I thought it was Willow, right? I said, no, it's not coming on Willow.
No,
and
Willow.
He checked with the Willow people. The Willow people not bringing it. And the Willow person suggested to him, You can check ICC.tv. I went on ICC.tv because I was already watching TNT, but I went on there to see for other folks who don't have, the fire, the thing on the Fire Stick, and it wasn't there. So it's a shame that such a large market for West Indies cricket in the United States will be deprived of watching this series.
I agree.
On any of the broadcasts.
I was surprised that Milo wasn't carrying it.
Yeah,
I eventually got it by going on my Caribbean channels.
Mm-hmm.
I said some Caribbean channel got to be
Rush.
And then I bounced up on Rush. By the time I got into the game, I lost about the first 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Myself. But for those of you who are listening out there,
if you got the IPTV or on your Fire Stick, or you go and get Rush Sports, or if you got access through there, you can get it on the TNT Sports. Go to UK Sports and you'll find it on TNT Sports number 3, because they got like 3 TNT Sports channel. The number 3 one was the one that came over today.
Wonderful. Thank you all, brothers. You all have some information there, and I'll see you all next week.
Definitely. Thank you.
And thank you all very much for staying with us. Quite a robust discussion tonight, and I will see you all next week. And for those of you who are politics people, I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon. I will see you all tomorrow evening.
Rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here comes the West Indies. And when you're facing the generals, nearly every ball is a funeral. And when we batting, brother, go and put your men on the boundary line. And if you give we a liquor, that is merely a hiccup. Look, you win the little battle, you lose the war. It's the same result every time. Everybody sing. Here comes the West Indies. Here comes the West Indies. Them rude boys gonna get you by degrees.